So as has been already said, I am Pilar Morales, and today we are going to have a joint presentation. So we have several presenters, and we are going to be presenting on a collaborative approach to an online course about environmental governance in the Amazon. And just so you can see how our presentation is going to look like, I'm going to go ahead and start with welcoming and introductions. Then I'm going to briefly talk about the environmental governance framework that the course was based on. Then Marlies is going to be talking about the process of the course. Then we are very lucky today to have Jacqueline with us, who is going to be talking about the perspective on the course from the partners. Then we're going to hear some student testimonials. It's actually a video. And then Angelica is going to be talking about what is next. And finally, we're going to have some room for Q&A. So for this course, the reason why it happened is because we have so many different groups of people and teams and partners involved. Most notably, we were really lucky to come with the support of the Institute for Rural Development in South America. They are they are an institution or an organization that supports rural development through research, communication, teaching at the regional level. And Interaprendizaje is an initiative under IPDRS that focuses on online education around rural development. So this organization has extensive experience with putting together an online course in an interactive way while dealing with a cross-national audience from people around South America. So they provided us with technical support, graphic design, an online platform to offer the course, but also they provided us with a very valuable knowledge on communication and teaching. I'm not sure if Oscar was able to join. Jackie?
Probably no.
No? Okay. Well, if
nothing.
Okay. Well, if he can join later, he can say hi whenever he gets to join. Oscar Bazoberri is the coordinator of the Institute for Rural Development of South America. And then Jacqueline Davalos is the coordinator of Interaprendizaje. She's been highly involved in the course, and we are gonna have the pleasure to listen to her later today, talking about their perspective on the course. Then the other group of people involved in this course has been assessing tools for environmental governance in the Amazon. This is basically a UF-based group. It's formed by alumni, current PhD students, and faculty. Basically, the instructors of the course, of the people that were teaching the course, were Dr. Andrea Baurin Fara, Dr. Angelica Garcia, Marlies Arteaga, Sinomar Fonseca, and myself, and all of them are here today, so they are going to be taking part of the Q&A. And then the rest of the team is Dr. Pers, Martina Esperanza, Dr. Pamela Montero Alvarez, Dr. Marta Rosero Peña, Luis Rondan Vázquez, and Jennifer Cedeño. Most of them are here today too. Again, this would have not been possible if it wasn't for many different people organized, involved in this. Part of it was also the Tropical Conservation and Development Program, because they are the ones that gave us a working group grant, which allow us to first publish the paper that I'm going to talk about briefly in a second, but also gave us funding to support the course and this initiative. Thanks to Patricia for having supported us in all the steps of the administrative process. It would not have happened without all of these people. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and talk briefly about the paper that the course was based on. We already presented this paper in a Tropilunch a year ago, so I'm just gonna give a very basic overview, and then we are gonna be listening for Marlies. So this is the paper, Multi-Criteria Frameworks to Improve Evaluation of Effectiveness of Environmental Governance in the Amazon. It was published in Frontiers in Forests and Global Change last year. I will drop the link once I'm done with my presentation in the chat in case you're interested in learning more in detail about it. And I'm gonna go ahead and give a very brief overview of it. So basically what we did is to develop a comparative analysis following the steps that you can see in the slide. First, we built from frameworks that evaluates environmental governance, recent frameworks that evaluate environmental governance, and we use them to identify a common evaluation framework. Then we review five case studies in the Amazon, where environmental governance has encountered difficulties that undermine its effectiveness. And for each of these cases, we identified up to 5 explanations for why environmental governance have proved to be ineffective. Once we have identified these explanations of ineffective governance, we applied our evaluation framework to identify which criteria for effective environmental governance were not met in each explanation. And then finally, we considered these results to draw conclusions about the effective governance across the 5 cases. So just to visualize how this look like, because I know that with this it sounds kind of confusing, I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through the different steps. So these Bennett, Satterfield, Warrington et al., and Viseo Piñero are the previous environmental governance frameworks that we rely on to build our own. So they all propose different criteria or different items to measure environmental governance or to evaluate environmental governance. And what we did was a conceptual analysis by which we look at each concept the framework provided, and then we matched criteria that were similar among the 3 frameworks. So for example, we considered that informed learning, monitoring, information and access to information are all belong to the category access to information and knowledge. And we did this with all the criteria that we came up with. And basically, this is the resulting list of criteria for evaluating environmental governance. So these include things such as access to information, innovation, participation, transparency, etc. And we applied these criteria to 5 case studies from Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. Here in the map, you can see them. They are all in the Amazon. And each of these cases had an author that was expert on the case and that identified explanations for ineffective environmental governance. So for example, in the TIPNIS, the author identified fragmentation, illegitimacy, power inequalities, etc., as explanations for ineffective governance. And then we link these explanations to our list of environmental governance criteria that I presented earlier. So for the TIPNIS, for example, for the explanation of ineffective environmental governance, that is fragmentation, we consider that this explanation was violating access to information and knowledge, accountability, capacity, etc. And I don't have time to go through all the major conclusions, but at least I wanted to show you that we came up with the criteria that were more violated across the 5 cases, and these are accountability, participation, coordination, and transparency. So there we come up with a series of other conclusions, such as, for example, we consider that the role of the state is very important in all of the cases in different ways. So in some cases, the state is authoritarian, in other cases is violent, in other cases is unresponsive. And then we also consider that there is a neglect of indigenous and other traditional peoples. But broadly speaking, these are the main conclusions of the paper. And again, I'll drop the link if someone hasn't done it already. And now I'm gonna go ahead and let Marlies continue with the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pilar. Thank you to everyone who is here. Thanks for joining us today. So basically what I'm gonna do is try to walk you through the process of creation, right, of this online class. So I'm gonna go briefly about the conception. How do we conceptualize this and how do we run the process? So basically the team, as Pilar already said, she mentioned all of us that participate, but I wanna mention that after we did all of this, we have new members in the lab. We have Pamela, Luis, and oh, I forgot the third name, I'm so sorry. We have one more, Jacqueline, I guess. So the team is growing and that is good because we will have more people that we will able to work with. So here we could see, oh, sorry. Okay, are you, yep, it's okay? Okay, perfect. So how do we come up with the class? So basically before we start, we think, okay, as a group, we need to do something. We want to do something. So we thought in publish some papers, right? Based on our background, based on our research interest, and we come out of, okay, we're gonna do research in environmental governance in the Amazon. So that was the starting point. And then we start, you know, like writing our case studies and then looking for funding and then looking for where we could publish our papers. So we ended up writing 2 different papers. The first one that Pilar already mentioned, that is already published in Frontiers. And we have a second paper who is in revision right now. Then we thought the application for the working group and for the TCD working group, and we said, oh, this is a great opportunity to try to show the results of our document, right? So we applied and we got the TCD working group grant. So at that point, we start thinking, okay, how we're going to start to develop this online class, which was the main objective of the TCD working group grant. So first we need to translate one of these documents. We translate all the documents into Spanish because the class will be in Spanish. As also Pilar already said, we base our studies in these 5 case studies from Bolivia, and Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. And then after we start, you know, finishing the planning phase and also doing these alliances with the IPDRS, in order to have, you know, set up the modules and also the contents. And later on, Jacqueline is gonna go deep into this process. We organized an inaugural event. The idea of this event was to have together all the students that had been signed up for being part of the class. And basically, the idea was to explain a little bit the process, show the modules, and also for them to ask some questions before starting the 7 modules that we prepared for them. So the idea was also to use this event as an icebreaker. So all the trainers, professors, or all of us just had the opportunity to talk with them, and they had the opportunity to know us. So yeah, the idea was basically having this ice breaking, and it was a really nice event, an online event. Then the class diversity was really amazing. We have participants from different parts of Latin America, and also we have someone from France. And it's not just the diversity of the people that in different countries, but also their background. So we have people from NGO, researchers, independents, farmers. So we have a variety of people in background, and that was really rich. And you will hear this from theirs later on in the video that we're going to show you. So we start with the first module, the introduction to the Amazon Environmental Governance Assessment Framework, because we thought that this will be really interesting just for set the ground and also for them to read the first part of the document, because the document that we translate was the basic document, the guiding document. And basically here, the idea was for them to introduce them into what we did, all the frameworks, how the frameworks work, how we analyze them, and how we came up with the framework that we did. Here are some examples of some of the homeworks that they have to do, and you will see through the presentation that we use different kind of methodologies because we really want this class to be proactive and also to be really engaged and with hands-on activities. The module number 2 in environmental governance in Tignis, Bolivia. This was focused on this case, and also it was really interesting for them to see this special case about what is happening with the indigenous communities in Bolivia at this point. Also in this part, an interesting activity that they did was creating this word cloud, basically when they have to think about the characteristics of strong organizations. For the module 3, we have the governance of hydroelectric dams in the Bolivian-Brazil border. Basically, the idea was to show them how binational issues could affect environmental governance as well, and see these problems in multi-layer factors. So as a result, we have 4 articles that were published on the IPDRS main webpage. Then in module 4, we have the governance and infrastructure in the states of the Amazon and Rondonia. And this was really important because they could really go deep into the indigenous communities and what is happening, what happened when you are planning these big infrastructures in the Amazon. For example, they made these comparison studies in Ecuador and also in Suriname. So you could see like the expertise of the participants and also the ideas that they got and the focus that they get for doing the activities were very broad. In module 5 in environmental governance and indigenous people in Colombia, we have Rosalba as a guest, and she focused her talk on how to raise women's voice in the communities and also the issue of inclusion and participation. She was presented in the synchronic session, and also she sent us a really interesting interview. Module 6 was focused on environmental governance and sustainable management of palms forest in Madre de Dios and Peru. And this was more focused in economic integration and how the institutions are fragmented in Latin America. The students made an interesting reflections on that. One reflection was based on a documentary that they saw. The other one was more focused on the economic integration of the environmental governance in different areas. So we have here some comments that the students wrote, and you could see that, for example, we have somebody from Brazil, others from Bolivia, others from Peru. And the module 7, this module was the last module. It was the comparative analysis and contribution to the evaluation framework for environmental governance in the Amazon. And this module was focused on, okay, after they, go through the whole document and go deep into each case. So what else? How do they, if they identify something that we could do better with our analysis? It was kind of, we were trying to validate our own framework and see the weaknesses and strengths and how we can improve that. And it works really well because most of them gave us really good feedback on that and specific feedback on how to improve the framework. So for example, in this was a group discussion on future scenarios for environmental governance in the Amazon. So the groups has to go deep into the positive aspects and negative aspects of environmental governance. And when we finish the 7 modules, we also organize a final event. So this final event was also virtual and open to the public. It was streamed on Facebook. And for this, we asked the students, the participants, if they want to share their final products. So we have 4 of them that from Peru, Bolivia, and Colombia who wants to present something, and they present interesting things. And so here you can see some of the presentations, but also we had the culture and music and dance. So it was a really nice event, trying to show not just our results, but also these analysis that the participants had from the different models. And after that, we did an evaluation, an analysis and evaluation with the team in partnership with the IPDRS, and the IPDRS, they'll create a final report. And Jacqueline is going to talk more in depth on that document, which was really important because it showed us the statistics, but also what the students thought about the class. So then we have some final reflections as a group. Basically, the reflections are more focused on this interesting methodology and the partnership with IPDRS and how that make our group stronger, because the IPDRS has a lot of experience doing this kind of online classes. And also the reflection on the participants and better ways to transmit information, but also create this space of analysis and this space of co-creation of information between the participants and the trainers. So I'm gonna finish here, and then I'm gonna go the words to Jacqueline Dávalos. So she is gonna talk in representation of the IPDRS.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Marlies. I will talk in Spanish, please. According our report, there are more achievements. The virtual course Environmental Governance in the Amazon, Evaluation, Analysis, and Perspective of Case in Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, and Peru. We work with day from July 26 to October 1, 2021. In this course, we have Oxfam as partner. The document was the paper Introduction to the Amazon Environmental Governance Assignment Framework with these topics. About the statistics, the virtual online course enrollment, principally people from Bolivia, 50% is Bolivian, and second is Colombian and Peru. According to the actor, more people who works in non-organizations, principally in Cobija, in the area near to the border, Amazon border. The second group is the academia and researchers. Three independent. The number of the group was 52 persons. People who approved this course. There are a number, a little pequeño, no, maybe 16 students. This result tiene que ver con the problems about the coronavirus, more teletrabajo, ¿no? Mucho teletrabajo. About the methodology, ya Marlies habló mucho, ¿no? Sobre esto, but I want to to explain the same techniques. For example, in the topic 1, the course development comparative infographias on the 3 environmental governments, identified actors, social politics, and approach. For me, it's important to visualize two ideas. In topic 2, the students did a little survey on social fabrics on environmental governance and the effects to the fragmentation of government structures and process. And in this topic, se trabajó sobre los futuros escenarios de la gobernanza amazónica. About the techniques in the case of Bolivia. In the topic 3, people write articles about the El Río Madera. In the topic 4, there are people who trabajó works and about the critical points are identified in the consultation process, such as the lack of transparency through the control of hearing mechanism for consultants favorable to interests of the companies, and the legal importance of advancing in the recognition of legal pluralism. In topic 5, we talk with Rosalba Velasco. She is a Colombian. She's Colombian. She's a leader. Fue muy bonito este momento because the students pudieron como entrevistarla, ¿no? Eso fue muy bonito, y hablaron también sobre ontologías. In topic 6, with Angelica, the group showed our territory, one video about the integration. According to the students, integration supposes a complex and tense reading because it represents opportunities and eco-social threats, and at the same time, it depends on the development focus of integration policy. In topic 7, this moment was very important to apply more ideas, more categories, principally because salieron the same indicators about the governance. For example, about the number of leaders who works in governance, number of women's participation in governance process. For these indicators, for me are more important to transmit these contents a the servidores públicos, ¿no? En el curso hemos tenido muchos productos, for example, 2 webinars, 5 videos, 4 articles de students, 6 articles de interaprendizaje que el IPDRS ha transmitido por boletines y demás, 20 flyers, more pictures, more videos. After the process, I would like to say this course for we nos permite explicar, put one explanation about environmental governance and to discuss with people from different countries. How are your categories, your advantage and disadvantage, and how could to apply this way to work could be used in other cases. For example, when we need to test a public politics, a law, and social indicator tools, apps, and other examples. Para el IPDRS ha sido muy importante este curso porque representa una manera novedosa de testear, ¿no? Lo que les digo, ¿no? Políticas, leyes, indicadores, herramientas, aplicaciones, ¿no? Y creo que esto de igual manera le sirve a la academia. According of the course, according students, how evaluate, people said have more information, updating, understanding from indicators about the environment governance in Amazon, and the possibility and apply the concepts to the other surroundings, consolidation of a cross-border view of this natural region, its a conversation and sustainable development emerging and transcendental, provide tools in the accompaniment of communities, no? According to this survey, 9 people to think with the materials and knowledge acquired in the course, will you mean to publish unless on one article, document or tools? Yes, people, la gente dice que sí, ¿no? Le hemos preguntado a la gente si los materiales le han servido, ¿no? Si han logrado publicar un artículo, y la gente dice yes. Para nosotros, para el IPEDER, esto es muy, muy, muy importante, ¿no? Porque la mayoría de las veces los artículos o los cursos no siempre se traducen en herramientas concretas. Esto nos parece súper valioso. According to the students, there are same suggestions to improve the virtual course. More people said only gratitude, congratulations, the course was very good. Have more active lines of participation, be able to feed back to the knowledge of the other participants, explain, propose a final project in groups where creativity, art, and playfulness are present. Only emphasize practices and examples that demonstrate resilience to climate change, effectiveness and efficiency in land management, environmental conservation, sustainable development, and other sustainable management of resource, interculturality, or dialogue of knowledge, and the perspective of gender. Give continuity to the other issues, such as water and cross-border management. Este punto me parece súper importante porque la Amazonía está articulada a través de sus ríos, y la gente señala eso, ¿no? Que para un próximo curso va a ser muy importante continuar con el tema del agua en el tema en la ecorregión amazónica. Be more strict with the presentation of homeworks. Do not encourage procrastination. This point it's good, ¿no? Because como ha sido virtual, la gente está muy ocupada, y entonces los profesores que han sido tan buenos han ampliado los tiempos for the homeworks. There were some issues that overwhelmed as they should balance to work a little more. Do not let a single participant monopolize the microphone, ¿no? A veces tenemos siempre los estudiantes que hablan mucho, entonces la gente pide cómo hacer para no monopolizar la palabra. Estas son las sugerencias de la gente que ha evaluado el curso, los estudiantes. According to the teachers, we validate the relevance of the criteria proposed by the framework. We review how they achieve the trans-scalar framework. Esto creo que le pasa a la academia. Normalmente nos vamos a los casos y perdemos un poco de vista ver esto en una escala mayor, ¿no? Es lo que los profesores han dicho. ¿Cómo vemos esto en una escala mayor? We know that it's necessary to include more proactive approach and not only evaluate in the framework. This part is more important because casi siempre tendemos a evaluar con mucho con mucho pesimismo el tema de la gobernanza en la Amazonía, y lo que hay que hacer más bien, como decía creo que Andrea, es incluir, ¿no? Incluir una mirada más asertiva sobre los logros que también se están dando, ¿no? Que van a venir de la mano de lo que hacen los pueblos indígenas, ¿no? Haciendo agroecología, con iniciativas culturales y demás. We comparative analyze 3 different evaluation frameworks on environmental governance, allowing to theoretical reflection in the attributes. We open the overview of environment governance in different parts of Latin America. Esto me parece súper importante igual, ¿no? La región no se había dado cuenta, pese a que estamos todos juntos, pese a que continuamente hablamos de integración, no siempre nos ponemos en relación, ¿no? El pensamiento comparado, el IPDRS está tratando de hacer mucho pensamiento comparado y no siempre es fácil de hacer, de manera que el curso contribuye a ese cuerpo teórico para hacer pensamiento comparado. We recovered a new perspective of the framework from the participants. We developed a didactic technique for the teaching and socialize of the framework. This part is more important for me because la universidad lo que ha hecho es desarrollar una técnica específica para enseñar sobre gobernanza en la Amazonía. Esto me parece súper lindo. Esto creo que lo dijo Marlis. We learned that in order to implement the framework in practice, need concrete measurement indicators. This part es también importante para mí porque normalmente no existe un diálogo entre la academia y la gestión pública. Y ese canal es posible de dar con indicadores. Y la gente en este curso ha desarrollado esos indicadores. Okay. That's all.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you very much. So until now, we just heard the perception from us, trainers, and from Jackie as a coordinator, right? And now we prepare a video because we want to hear the perception of the students, right? So we ask a couple of students, I mean, we ask everyone, but we just receive a couple of videos. And so you're going to hear directly from them what they think about the online class. Okay, give me a second. Okay.
At least.
Sí.
No se escucha. I think that is it. Can people hear it?
Oh, okay. I can hear it well.
I can hear it, but it's like in and out on my end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to try with to share my screen?
Okay, okay.
I'll go and see. I also have it up and just to see. Can you hear it better now?
No, we can't hear it at all.
Put it louder, Pilar. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try again.
No, we cannot hear.
Well, we might be able to. What do you think? Share the video later.
Pilar,
The link?
We can try a few quick fixes. Let me see if there's a way to do it via Zoom. I think Pamela just posted that you need to go to the audio settings in Zoom. Let's see.
Okay,
Yeah, I did that once. You have to go to audio settings, and unfortunately, I don't remember very well. But then you like habilitate the option to allow the website that you want the sound with, and when you share, you will share the sound of that website. I did it some time ago. I'm sorry, I don't remember very well, but I know it's something in the audio settings in Zoom, and then we will hear what you're listening.
Maybe the problem is that I had I'm gonna try again because I had the headphones, so maybe.
Yes, try taking your headphones off and playing it at high volume.
Can you hear it now?
better.
Yes.
Tanto las comunidades aledañas y ciertas al lugar donde se va a realizar determinado proyecto o, por ejemplo, al medio ambiente, el más importante. En mi carrera sí, efectivamente me sirve bastante porque ahora actualmente estoy realizando una consultoría en todo lo que es la gobernanza. Y esta parte de la gobernanza ambiental es muy importante ya que se puede evaluar con mejores criterios todos estos pasos que hay que seguir para que los directos involucrados y el medio ambiente no sean perjudicados, más bien salgan beneficiados de todos los procesos. Y bueno, y agradecer a la institución por la oportunidad de haber realizado el curso y muchas gracias a todos mis compañeros y los participantes.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Hugo Eduardo García Villacorta, soy peruano y sociólogo de profesión. Actualmente me dedico a la docencia y he tenido el agrado de participar en el curso virtual Gobernanza Ambiental en la Amazonía. Ha sido una experiencia bastante enriquecedora en cuanto a la comprensión del uso y manejo de los recursos naturales. Lo que más me gustó del curso fue la metodología, ya que es bastante dinámica y permite a los asistentes participar activamente en las sesiones. También el curso ha tenido un impacto significativo en mi constante formación profesional, ya que a mis estudiantes les transmito la importancia de la conservación del medio ambiente natural y del derecho de los pueblos originarios a defender sus territorios.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Gustavo Mariaga, soy de Bolivia, formado en la carrera de Comunicación Social para el Desarrollo y con estudios de maestría en el manejo de bosques y en desarrollo rural sostenible en universidades de Alemania y Bolivia respectivamente. Actualmente me desempeño como consultor especialista en desarrollo sostenible y en gestión social para el manejo sostenible de bosques y pues he tenido el gusto de formar parte del curso de gobernanza ambiental en la Amazonía. Creo que lo que más me gustó del curso es que fue un curso internacional con la participación de diferentes profesionales de diferentes países amazónicos. Creo que eso fue muy importante porque permite el intercambio de información y experiencias en los diferentes países amazónicos. La realidad es que en muchos casos son similares y nos hace pensar en alternativas de solución que también son similares para varios países o para el conjunto de los países amazónicos. Creo que la metodología planteada por el curso ha sido adecuada, muy interesante, con un texto básico de investigación y a partir de ahí complementación de bibliografía y recursos audiovisuales para aumentar la información que uno tiene. Creo que el impacto mayor de este curso ha sido justamente la interacción internacional. La interacción entre profesionales de diferentes países que nos ha permitido acercarnos a la realidad de otros países y acercarnos también a los colegas, conocerlos al menos un poco. Creo que el contenido del curso forma parte de ese bagaje profesional que uno tiene para aplicarlo en el día a día a la profesión. Entonces, definitivamente ha alimentado la información en ese sentido. Definitivamente es un curso que lo recomendaría y recomendaría mucho que se lo vuelva a hacer de manera internacional. Es una oportunidad para intercambiar conocimiento, para saber de la problemática, pero también para plantearse alternativas de solución conjuntas. Muchas gracias.
Mi nombre es Duván Humberto Castro Ramos, yo soy de Colombia, soy maestro de danza, investigador para el desarrollo social y cultural. El curso de gobernanza ambiental para la Amazonía fue muy agradable, recibimos buena información acerca de los diferentes países que conforman la Amazonía. Nos integramos maravillosamente con personas de cada uno de esos países. Eso fue una de las cosas que más me gustó de este curso. La metodología pues, fue excelente, cada uno de los tutores, maestros, doctores que nos estuvieron orientando hacia el conocimiento de la efectividad de la gobernanza ambiental según los casos. El impacto del curso pues, ha sido muy bueno, hemos querido continuar acercándonos sin perder ese vínculo para desarrollar mejor y estar al tanto de la problemática de gobernanza en la Amazonía como en los lugares donde cada uno vive. El contenido del curso para mi profesión de la cultura ha sido muy importante poder aplicarlo a las comunidades, en el caso mío de la cultura con los pueblos indígenas, donde hemos tenido una forma de contarle a los pueblos y a las comunidades según estos métodos y estos ejemplos de gobernanza que aprendimos, cómo aplicarlos para que la gobernanza sea efectiva. Este curso, pues, obviamente es muy recomendado para toda persona inquieta por la Amazonía y sirve mucho para aplicarlo en cualquier otra región. En Colombia, particularmente de Guagua y Chocó, también con algunos pueblos indígenas. Muchas gracias por su atención y espero que en un nuevo curso pues, se fortalezcan más estas ideas que hemos desarrollado desde cada uno de los territorios y de cada uno de los casos.
Angélica.
Bueno, siguiendo con el programa, realmente es muy bonito. Oh, sorry, I'm going to switch to English. So continuing with the program, no, it's very nice, very interesting, very important to see the opinions, no, of the students of the class, because we, as the organizers of this class that we did last year, we feel that we really had an impact and they really learn, no, the concepts of the class. And also we can see that how they really like that interaction with professionals from different countries, right? And so we definitely want, we would like to continue with this work, no? So we were still working on different aspects for this class. And for that, the last thing we did last year after the class, we prepared a proposal and we applied for the Marianne Smith Innovation Award as a group, and we got the award. So we are very happy and delighted about it. And the focus of this this project to continue, no, our work on environmental governance, it will be focused on integrating research and communication tools in the Amazon region, no, focusing on the topic of environmental governance. So the objectives of this new grant, no, that we just got, it will be to combine different methodologies and tools with research and create new spaces of dissemination and communication of science through outreach activities in the Amazon region. So for this, we plan some activities, and one of them, very important, that we will be doing, we think about around April or May. We will organize a couple of virtual panels. The first one, we will invite different indigenous leaders from the Amazon region to talk about different topics within governance in the Amazon. As Jackie mentioned, the students were very excited when one of the indigenous leaders, Rosalba, made her presentation. They really wanted to touch or to learn more about the topic of gender in environmental governance. No? And then the second virtual panel that we plan to organize is will be focused on innovative pedagogical and communicative techniques with participants based in Latin America. For this, we are planning to invite different organizations like NGOs, government institutions, grassroots organizations based in the Amazon region. And then the other activity that we plan to do after these virtual classes and also after the analysis of the class that we are just talking about today is to develop a toolkit booklet. And of course, will be based on the experiences with the online course and the panels. And we expect that our ongoing projects will yield results that identify concrete communicative strategies to promote sustainable and inclusive management of natural resources. So I know we don't have much time, but I think it will be important if the other members of the group also, if you have questions, no, for them or for us, we'll be happy to answer. Thank you.